welcome to part 2 of Insecurities. I'm Jonathan Fisher, and this is my wife Haley Fisher, and we're going to jump right in. So, part 1, we talked a little bit about how your insecurities affect you, and today we want to talk about how other people's insecurities affect you. So, other people's insecurities affect us in a variety of different ways. But for the most part, what's happening there is when somebody feels insecure, they will do one of several things. They will try to take control from you or the situation, which is a huge one. That's what most of the time happens. Or they will try and make you feel bad for them. So those are the two big ones, and I wanted to go over those today. So one is control. So most people, whenever they feel insecure, they feel inadequate. They feel like there's something missing. And so I will try to take control, or they will try to take control when there is an insecurity present. And so whenever you're in a marriage, let's talk about this in terms of a marriage context. So in a marriage, if one person feels insecure, they will try to take control back and try to take control back of their value by yelling, by being mean or indignant, bitterness. So there's a lot of negative sin responses that happen whenever somebody else gets insecure. And so if I'm experiencing that insecurity, what's going to happen is I'm going to experience a lot of that negativity. And so that's primarily how somebody can be affected. So in our story, I get insecure whenever I am seen or perceived as incompetent. So Haley will say something or will be doing something, and I will perceive that I am being, perceived incompetent in that moment. And Haley didn't intend to do any of that or communicate that, and so then I will snap, or I will respond in anger or a bitter response, or I'll have an inappropriate, again, response to my wife. And then what Haley can do is experience that and say, what's happening? Why am I getting such negativity from Jonathan? And so again, almost every time she can say, that's based on his insecurities. It's really not what Haley's done in that situation, it's why I feel insecure. And that's something I need to take responsibility for. And again, it's great if you can go to counseling and talk through some of those things, or if you can talk through some of those things with your spouse, if your spouse is emotionally mature enough and emotionally intelligent enough to talk through that with you, that's excellent. But if not, I would recommend going to seeing a professional about identifying some of those insecurities in yourself as well as maybe in your spouse, and then working through this. What do I do whenever I encounter negativity? And how do I experience that and not take responsibility for somebody else's insecurities?
So then the other way that we see this come out is this idea of like self-pity, or like, I feel insecure because, maybe I disappointed Jonathan. So then I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm such a bad person and I can't believe I did that. And instead of me like taking responsibility for that insecurity I have maybe about my value and worth being tied to what I do or don't do, it becomes this cycle of, basically self-deprecating cycle, which then puts on that other person like that they've actually done something wrong when maybe they haven't. Maybe Jonathan just said like, hey, I'd like you to do this a different way, and he's not trying to attack my character. He didn't even say it in a bad way. Like, he's just making a statement or a request, but I'm turning it into something much deeper and much more personal. And he's experiencing this feeling of like he needs to fix, or like he's responsible, or guilt, instead of it being really about me and what's going on with me.
It all comes down to who's responsible. Am I responsible for a negative emotion, or am I not? And so again, part 1, we talked about our own insecurities and how they affect ourselves, and then this part 2 talked about how other people's insecurities and how they affect us. And basically it really does come down to responsibility. Where do you hold the responsibility? Do you hold the responsibility in your own insecurity? I believe, yeah, absolutely, and you need to be able to identify that. And being able to leave that responsibility whenever somebody else is insecure. Now, love them, empathize with them, hurt with them in that, but you don't have to take responsibility for for that other person's insecurity. I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for watching this. These are part 1 and 2, again, of insecurity. And so these are really great. Share these. This topic in particular is one that affects so many people. So many people are confused on, where do I take responsibility? Did I cause this? Did I not cause this? Is this somebody else's stuff? And so share this. This is could be a really helpful video for a lot of different people. So again, thank you so much for joining us for Intentional Relationships, and we'll catch you guys next time.